ThePrint. It's election result day, and we are joined by Yashwant Deshmukh, founder director at CVoter. Welcome to ThePrint, sir.
Thank you, Sanya. Pleasure.
Very quickly, sir. Everyone's been talking about this. The phrase today is how BJP has managed to end its political exile in Delhi. So my first question: how do you think it has managed to do that?
Well, I can't help but remember in 1998 when we were doing the post poll. At that point of time, there was no TV, no social media. We were good old print was there, and the next day the headlines of our post poll research were that the middle class shows the back to the BJP. You know, 27 later, it is the middle class, exactly the same middle class, which has propelled BJP back to power in Delhi. And we have been listening, all players, everybody, all around. But I must say that in a T20 match, when you are looking at a 20 years first inning and 20 years second inning, it eventually boils down to the last ball of the match, where one player has hit the six and made the BJP win, and nobody is talking about that player right now. That is Nirmala Sitharaman. All right. That winning pinch, that thing, because if you look at the vote share, just like in our post-poll survey, when we said BJP will probably have a lead of 4% in totality, it's precisely the 4%. And that 4% swing is nothing but the turnout of that upper and middle class, which generally used to sit at home if they are sulking with the BJP. It's the upswing of their turnout, that block of turnout, which has done the magic for the BJP. Yes, there are other factors as well. I won't say, a drop of 10-15% point for Arvind Kejriwal has multiple things to. First of all, their image went down as a corruption crusader for so many reasons. So that played an important part. Practically speaking, the day Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party won the MCD election, I had said this on the screen that, now the problems actually start for Aam Aadmi Party, because till now they have been blaming MCD and BJP for everything that was wrong with the Delhi civic issue. But now that they are going to control the MCD, the incumbency is going to come to them. And that is precisely in the post-poll survey when we asked people, those who are not voting the Aam Aadmi Party, why are you not voting for them? The top 2 points were, number one, of course, was anger that it is no more the same party. Number two was Prime Minister Modi and the budget. But apart from that, the massive chunk of the voter, which was unhappy, their issues were water is not palatable, not drinkable. The garbage on the street is everywhere, which they are happy. The sewage is overflowing in that way. Of course, the air pollution was not an electoral issue, but still 5 out of 100 said that it's unbreathable air in Delhi. But look at the mess, at the civic mess. And by the way, I have written about this, Sanya, and I have said this on earlier shows as well. Whenever even today we ask in Delhi Tracker, huge majority of Delhi still consider Sheila Dikshit as their best ever chief minister they ever saw. Now, what did Sheila Dikshit do that nobody else could do? 15 years of her governance, she converted Delhi into a world-class city. That too, a significant part of it under the LG of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So the LG question was out of the window. People in Delhi were so used to that Sheila Dikshit time of infrastructure development that halted, because Arvind Kejriwal's schemes, even though they were good, looking at the bottom of the pyramid, because he still manages to poll 43-44% in Delhi. That's a considerable number. A very credible number, honestly. So much so that BJP, which was pushing the anti-Revdi culture, had to come down and play on his pitch. That we are not going to dilute the Revdi, we are going to make it better. But the common refrain across India for the middle classes was, okay, you may distribute free ration to 800 million people. Maybe all of them don't need it. 400 million is still needed. Good. You do Trinity, Jam, Jandan, everything is good. But we are paying the tax. Humko kya mila? The middle class was asking this question non-stop. And this budget of Nirmala Sitharaman delivered exactly what they wanted. The inflation was going up, the cost of living was going up, and middle class was thinking like, the revenues that you are giving, it is coming at our expense. So I am not against revenue, but give me something as well. How am I going to run my own family? So Nirmala Sitharaman delivered that, and that in turn actually registered the sharpest U-turn in our tracker within 72 hours that I have ever witnessed. We could not show the last 72 hours because of the ECI embargo that no new numbers are to be given. But when I was discussing all with my editors and all my broadcast friends, and I was telling them that, boss, this change I have never seen. I have never seen in 28 years of my professional career. This is something different, and BJP is probably going to pull off something which is so damn surprising that electoral management point of view, this will go down as a classic victory of BJP. Not make no mistake about it.
Hmm. Actually, I found it so fascinating because in one of your interviews, you also said that middle class has almost emerged as a caste group within itself, with its own value systems and so on. But Yashwanti, I'd also like to ask you, this bravery culture that you're talking about, it has also becomes a model that everybody is compelled to adopt. Even the BJP has had to adopt it, even in Delhi. So, what do you think happens to this politics now? Because AAP in some way also epitomized this politics of freebies or welfare and so on. Do you think going ahead that has become a given and everything has to work around it, and that's a non-negotiable now?
I think that is non-negotiable, Sanya, for a simple reason that when you say 800 million people are given free ration, even if you take 50% away, that okay, they do not need anymore, you're still you're staring at a 400 million people who actually need that support. God forbid, if that wasn't have been there, during the COVID, I remember uh, big number of columnists in the West were actually discussing, are we going to see higher deaths from COVID or higher deaths from hunger in India?
Yeah.
So we wonderfully avoided that kind of a disaster. I am not at all saying that there is no poverty and poor should not be given those kind of facility. No middle class, no Indian would like the poor of India to suffer, but it was not balanced. One has to appreciate the point that when Manmohan Singh and PV Narasimha Rao opened the economy at that point of time, our middle class was not even 3.5% of India's population. Today, from any parameter, we are looking at almost 35 to 40% of India in the middle class section. That ballooning of middle class has made it a new caste group because of the middle class values. Tanya, in jokes and everywhere, we do make fun. Yeah, middle class type ki baat hai. When even in the tele series, then Monisha, this is so middle class, we used to laugh because we all relate to it. Am I middle class enough? I have myself posted fun videos of squeezing the last bit of toothpaste from my tube. That this is the proof that I am genuinely middle class, and that's what middle class values are all about. You save to the last thing, but at the same time, you put your saving in your kids' education so that to ensure that they get better educated, better life, better financial security and all that. Those middle class values cut beyond caste and religious lines. So anybody who becomes a middle class dilutes the caste identity and religious identity. No matter a Brahmin middle class probably is going to have the same middle class value set as a Dalit middle class or a Muslim middle class or a Thakur middle class or Yadav or any OBC middle class. All right.
Hmm.
People were acknowledging it in the life, but politicians were not acknowledging it. I think today's verdict and the dramatic effect of the budget has underlined that you may like to do the freebie, you may do the bottom of the pyramid. Middle class is not hating that. They are support. Come to think of it, 10 years they supported it, right? It was only when the inflation really started pinching them, the same middle class started asking question. Boss,
Yeah.
I am not getting free ration either, but I have to buy vegetable and food for my kids and my family. So
Correct.
where do I stand? So the
Hmm.
middle class asked the question on these things. Middle class also asked question, uh, uncomfortable question to Arvind Kejriwal. Number one, when the Anna Andolan happened, it was the same middle class which went to the Ramlila ground.
Yeah.
All right. Same middle class. They supported Arvind Kejriwal so much that 67.3 and 62-8 happened in the last 10 years, right?
Hmm.
The prime focus of that middle class was this guy is promising corruption-free government. Now, when that USP was gone, the only USP that remained with Aam Aadmi Party was the governance aimed at the bottom of the pyramid.
Hmm.
Mohalla clinic, better Sarkari school, good for them. And the very fact that they are polling 43-44% is also the, what shall I say, the guarantee that that freebie thing is not going to go away. Because
Hmm. Correct.
BJP understands he got 43-44% because of that. Nobody is going to take that away. But
Hmm.
BJP also understood what the middle class doesn't like is something promised and something not delivered.
Hmm.
All
Hmm.
right.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
is where Bill Kejriwal, I think, mismanaged. He thought that the traditional routine way of lower income group coming out with a better turnout than the middle class coming out, which the middle class notoriously is known for a low turnout. Look at
Hmm.
all the turnouts in all the metros in India.
Yeah.
Middle class had to wake up and say, not only we think, but we also act. We do go out and vote. So,
Hmm.
so they have realized all of a sudden that their voting matters. The
Hmm.
BJP has realized this is a new potential weapon which every other party has to take care of. The issues of middle class, and they have to balance it out with all the schemes that they are aiming at the bottom of pyramid. So it is a now fine balance that the politicians have to learn.
Hmm. Right, sir. If we watch throughout the election, this was portrayed as an election which was a referendum on Arvind Kejriwal. How do you see his future? How do you see the Aam Aadmi Party's future? Because the Aam Aadmi Party has always been considered a party without an ideology, a party without a very strong ideological base in that sense, a startup of sorts. So from here on, where does it go now?
Well, there is a tendency among all of us to write down the political obituaries very, very soon. And
So we
electoral
shouldn't do
history,
that. We shouldn't do
we
that in
should
this case.
never do that. Electoral history tells us that, public जो है ना इस मुल्क की, that is unbelievably smart. They just pull out everybody from the vacuum back into the action the moment anybody gets too comfortable in the chair.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
do not write the political obituary of Kejriwal. He still has polled 43-44% in this city, which is credible.
But
He
going ahead, what are the challenges for the Aam Aadmi Party and what are the challenges for Kejriwal now?
Well, biggest challenge is Punjab. You see, the unique thing about BJP is that when they smell blood, they go for the jugular. So, I mean, now that BJP and Congress have aligned their interest in kind of taking care of this threat called Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party, we need to keep an eye on what happens in Punjab next. I mean, that could be a political casualty of what happened in Delhi. That's a different thing. But apart from that, what Kejriwal is gonna do, he is not gonna sit at home. He is a street fighter. Let me put it this way. It's not gonna that he is going to fade away in oblivion. I can bet you that his next target, even after this loss, is going to be Gujarat. He is going to campaign really hard in Gujarat, which is going to help BJP in the initial rounds because last election also he he kind of thrashed Congress in a way that Congress came down. Now if I have this, I feel like that he is going to put his focus in Gujarat big time. Still 2-3 years to go in the election, and he's not gonna fade away. He's gonna remain there. Yes, the power engine of being the Delhi chief minister, that will be gone. His personal loss from the New Delhi seat is a huge setback.
Correct.
It's not something that it is not going to be taken as a setback. It is a huge setback. But with a politician like him, you can be sure of he is the only politician in the last 10 years who actually has troubled the BJP. I don't think BJP is going to be happier than any other result than in Delhi today. You know,
Hmm.
he has been a constant pain in
But
the
the
back.
fact that he the fact that he was put behind bars, that he spent so many months in jail, do you think that had any effect this way or that?
No, that did not do any sympathy for him. He
Hmm.
was hoping for the sympathy. Sympathy did not arrive. But what has happened that the Sheesh Mahal damaged the image
That's
way more than what he could have imagined. I
Hmm.
think that has done the damage. I mean, we have done snap polls in the past, and it was very evident that the damage is happening. Still, the damage was the drainage stopped at around 45% at that point of time, because the damage was like, okay, ये भी इन्हीं लोगों की तरह से. It is not that he BJP is less or Congress is less corrupt than Aam Aadmi Party. So that damage, that is why he still managed to poll the votes that he has managed to poll.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sheen was gone. I think it will take a really long curve for him to win the confidence of that middle class back.
Right. Yeah.
And nationally speaking, he's not gonna stop at Delhi. I mean, with the loss, I mean, he's probably gonna invest his time, go back to the drawing board, make sure what he's done, where he lagged and whatever, and redraw whatever. But BJP is super duper happy. More than BJP, it's the Congress which is happy, because now they feel like we are now have a very good chance to reconstruct the Congress from the scratch. And they have a good chance of winning Punjab back if the after shocks of Delhi are felt in
Yeah.
Punjab as well.
Yeah.
So those things Congress is happy.
Yashwanti, my last question to you. I know you have to go. After the Lok Sabha elections, there have been elections in Haryana, Maharashtra. Of course, Jharkhand BJP lost, but now Delhi. Do you think the momentum that the opposition gained through the Lok Sabha elections has been decisively lost, and the BJP has to completely undone the losses of the Lok Sabha polls now?
Sanya, let me underline what I said after the Lok Sabha polls. I had said that it's an aberration, it's a blip on the radar. Because 99 seats of the Congress were being celebrated as if they have got 199, and 240 of the BJP was pulled down as if they got 140, without realizing that BJP almost got twice the votes than the Congress. And whatever the seat the opposition got in, and the BJP uncomfortable situation that BJP got in be it Rajasthan, UP or Maharashtra, it was their internal issues, internal problems. The moment, when Mr. JP Nadda said, "Humko RSS ka zarurat nahi hai," those were the troublemaker things. The moment that election result was out, BJP pushed the button of the reboot, went back to the RSS. Sorry for that, but we are back. So kindly help us. And the moment those internal issues were spotted, look at what happened in Haryana, look what happened in Jammu region, look what happened in Maharashtra, look what happened in Delhi. So that 2024 Lok Sabha verdict was just an aberration, a blip in a radar. I don't know why people so enthusiastically over-analyzing it. The fact was, it was an internal issue of the BJP which put them in the uncomfortable situation of losing their own majority. But the fact was also, it was still the NDA government, they were sitting pretty. Narendra Modi happens to, again, his popularity rating are not going down. These are the hard facts. These are the hard facts which one has to look into and say that.